Na, verdammt. Okay, das haben wir gleich, das haben wir gleich, das haben wir gleich. Ihr hört ja schon die Musik. Äh, das war kein perfekter Start, gerade. Das war alles andere als perfekt sogar. Jetzt. Pum. Ich werde auf jeden Fall doch nochmal so den Quicksave fahren. Ich weiß jetzt nicht, ob ich das vollständigkeitshalber nochmal alles machen soll, also mir alles anhören soll. Eigentlich, ja, müsste ich das machen. Wäre besser, sagen wir es mal so. Übrigens, ich mache es diesmal auch mit meinen Hauptkarten, also das mit Tirus sozusagen. So cool, dass man wirklich nochmal laufen kann. So dass sie eben ihre Meinung dazu abgibt.
You there! A moment of your indulgence, if you please. You are the source hunter, are you not? The hero the whole of Sightseal is abuzz about. The talk of the town. The juiciest grape on the grapevine. Such a pleasure to meet you. A delight. No, scratch that. It is so much more than a delight. It is an intervention of fate. Yes, that's it. Fate has put me on this very spot so I may tell you all about a most intriguing opportunity indeed. Mendius, at your service. What is my profession? Well, I'll tell you what it used to be, and that is a man of medicine. But what does a man of medicine do but mend what has first been broken? I saved lives, to be sure, but today I change them. They call the undead a problem, my friend, but those who know the ways of the fabulous five see no problems. They see opportunities. An enterprising spirit can wrench riches from cold dead rocks. Or from cold dead, full stop.
Old friend.
Fresh haddock. Perfect for a fry-up.
Oh, it's not merely an opportunity. It is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to become better. To become the full extent of the promise that is locked inside of each and every one of us. So first of all, let me ask you this question. Do you like adventure?
Not in the mood for cheese. An excuse is more holes than a slot.
Some could not, because they are professionals, not adventuring daydreamers.
Yours for a scrap of gold each.
Ich weiß nicht, was ganz anderes gesagt. Das ist interessant. Das ist wirklich zufällig.
Join the
Natürlich,
Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
Ich aber ganz gut. Na. Das nicht. Okay, das sind keine Abenteuerlust.
Clearly, two strong personalities stand before me. Two who voice their opinions with vigor when they differ. What else could I expect from mighty source hunters? Too bad your line of work comes with such measly recompense. Am I right? The wage of a mere soldier. Now, between you and me, tell me truthfully, don't you sometimes wish you could earn more?
Waiting for what, exactly?
Nor me. Wealth is but vanity.
Oh, but I know you're just being bashful. I bet that in your heart of hearts your eyes water with joy when you discover yet another treasure during your travels. Even so, my friend, matters of a pecuniary nature aside, what is life without variety, without spice? To be a source hunter must get frightfully dreary sometimes. Am I right? All those orders. Investigate this, retrieve that. And at the end of the day, what do you have to show for it? Wouldn't you prefer to call your own shots? Be your own boss?
No better solution to the zombie problem than
I disagree. I, for one, am content with my station.
Oh.
You disagree with one another. But that proves you are firm-willed, that you have the minds of independence, not dependence. Admit, life's too short to spend it doing someone else's bidding. Am I right? Of course I am. And I could help you attain the dream, enact the change you deserve. And that is exactly why I am here. Why fate has put me right by the door to the King Crab, so that I could meet you and tell you about the marvel that is the Fabulous Five. The invitation to join is yours. Grab it. Ah, the Fabulous Five. How I enjoy simply saying the words that describe the most illustrious and celebrated adventurers' guild in Riverlon. Our mission, to better the world. Our mantra, to better ourselves as we do so. To realize our dreams and cleanse our souls. You'd like nothing more than to enlist, wouldn't you? Of course you would. And you can. Of course, if you still have questions, I shall answer them to the best of my abilities. But if not, how about we get started? What a gem of a question. Straight as an arrow, sharp as a switchblade. Most meritorious of you. Now then, to join the Fabulous Five is to join a fellowship, to join a fraternity, a sorority, a community. The title of Knight is bestowed upon you the moment you sign our waiver, and so it all begins. I shall be the one to give you your first contracts, and once the job is done, I shall see to it you get your fair share of the reward. Of course, should you spread the word, should you propagate the gospel of the Fabulous Five and thereby draw new knights into our fellowship, you will get a share of the reward from their contracts too. Isn't that wonderful? By now, the genial glow of the fellowship must have warmed your heart. It has, hasn't it? But did I say fellowship? I mean family. For like a family, we support one another, cheer one another, see each other through thick and thin, partake in glory and defeat. Work hard, fulfill contracts, enlist new knights, and swiftly shall you rise through the ranks. You will better yourself. You will better Riverlon. You will make the stars shine all the brighter, and you'll get fabulously wealthy in the process. What's not to like?
Ja, so speichern. Zack. Kann ich in den Dialog reinladen? Oder nicht?
Let's see. Halibut?
Ah, you'd like nothing more than to enlist, wouldn't you? Of course, of course, of course, of course. All you need to do is sign this waiver, and just like that, snap! You're part of the family. All I need is your lovely little autograph. What do you say?
Rather foolish to pass up on such a lucrative opportunity, don't you think? I've always wanted to join a real guild. Indulge me, okay?
Schade, ich habe gewonnen. Hier ist die, wenn sie jetzt gewinnt. Yes.
Get it while it's fresh. This batch is only hours from the sea.
Perfekt. Muss noch ein paar Mal gewinnen. Und so schaffst du.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes. Come now, Alice.
Pay the big cheese on your block for the will of the good stuff.
Okay, das war ja eine ganze Diskussion.
Very well, have it your way.
Marvelous. Magnificent. Oh, but what am I saying? Fabulous is the word. You may not realize it yet, but your fortunes, your very life is about to change for the better. So let us not dilly-dally. To business! Your first assignment is ready and waiting if you're ready and willing. What more is there to say, my friend? You are one of us now, a proud member of the even prouder Fabulous Five. Glory be, for glory has found you.
Das kann ich mir auch noch sagen. Ich habe interessiert als Arbeit war. Ich fokussiere
You found new recruits already? Efficient. Proactive. Oh, I like that. Send them to me and I'll sign them up. And of course, since they're your recruits, you'll get a share of every assignment they complete. Isn't that just fabulous? Oh, it's a pretty straightforward task, this one. Now, in this town dwells a wizard. Ahu is his name, and he's a frightful eccentric. Scientific type, you know the kind. Favors reason over faith and all that. Not Fabulous Five material, him. His experimental weapons may keep a couple of skeletons away from the city, but many of his other researches failed, malfunctioned with tragic consequences. One of them was a big lumbering apparatus, a frightful automaton shaped like a giant made of steel. It was supposed to crush the undead by the dozens, piloted as it was by a trained legionnaire. But you can guess what happened. Did it become sentient? Was it cursed? Whatever the cause, the thing relieved itself of its pilot and headed north towards a network of caves. Now ask yourself, what if it comes back? It could smash the city walls and claim 100 lives before being subdued.
So you're just hanging around the inn, are you?
Luckily, there are those in this world who belong to the Fabulous Five. The braves who eat such monstrosities for breakfast. Go, my friend. Find this wizard's abomination and claim your just reward from Mayor Cecil in the name of our hallowed guild. Easy money.
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Seem like the sort who concerns myself with such things.
You'll be concerned enough when you realize that reward money won't be lying in your pocket.
Oh, my good man. Drink if you please.
Please do keep shouting.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Be the big cheese on your block with a wheel of the good stuff.
Heavenly herring, delicious
So you're just
dogfish.
hanging around
Yours
the
for a
inn,
scrap
are
of
you?
gold each.
Waiting for what, exactly?
Oh, thank you to leave me be, you old bat.
Let us
Oh,
see if you can choose the finest greens.
Well, suffice to say it, I've got my eye on halibut, sheep's cheese,
I am a
tomatoes.
potato-eating peasant.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Red and orange, yellow and green, the finest veggies Sicil's ever seen.
How fares your first quest, hero and hunter? Fabulously exciting, I'll bet.
Please do keep
Surely
shouting.
How fares your first quest, hero and hunter?
I've come to my matches when I linger over long while lighting my pipe.
Oh, careful now. Your head's grown more swollen than Saffron's, I dare say.
So you're just hanging around the inn, are you? Oh, you think you can speak that way to us? Well, suffice to say it, I've got my eye on
Zimbladorix Zat! Ha! Quite under my spell, aren't you? Yes, my infriending charm never fails. Me? You mean you don't recognize me? Well, you must live under a very large, very heavy rock, for I'm the finest wizard in Rivellon.
Good man.
Yes, that is strange. Strange indeed. But it's a strange world we live in, isn't it? A strange and magical world, full of wonders and regionis regentum. Oh, you'll find out. You'll find out indeed. If I'm as good as they say I am, you'll have sprouted a pair of long purple ears in the next hour. Ah, how I do love a tasty aubergine in summertime.
I am a duke.
Ah, pointless chatter with strangers does so thrill me. How did you know? Please continue interrupting my drink if you'd be so kind. How curious of you to show interest in a lonesome stranger at the bar. Let me answer by saying that who I am is hardly any of your business, and anyone with an ounce of tact would have known that already. So you've wrangled a position in the Fabulous Five, have you? I'm fairly brimming with enthusiasm at the prospect of calling you a partner. You'd better leave me undisturbed, or my emotions might just bubble over. You've been sent after Ahu's insane robot, I understand. Do you imagine that while you're busy being crushed by that abomination, I'll manage to get through a whole drink, distraction-free?
I'll thank you to leave me be, you old rat.
Oh, you think...
Hearty welcome to the King Crab Inn, and a pleasure to have you. You look like you could use a round or three, so what'll it be? Have a seat and stay a while.
The Northern Cave.
The name's Ivad. Pleased to make your acquaintance. I've been offering the weary travellers of Sicil drink and rest for nearly 2 decades now, but the king crab's older than that by a long shot. All you see before you is the manifestation of my great-grandpappy Horatius Dungeness's noble vision. Beer and naps for everyone, no questions asked. Well, between you and me, things have been rather slow since the, incident. But with spirits high and liquor flowing like it is tonight, it seems the crab may just come out of that pinch.
Alistair, have you ever had the fortune of
3 hopeless sailors? Truly wish I could help you, but I'm barely keeping afloat as it is. Psst. Mind if we keep our voices down over that sensitive subject? Death and dark magic ain't exactly great for business, you know. That room where it happened, it was rented to a certain woman, though I regret to say I can't say exactly who. This inn isn't in the business of asking many questions, if you know what I mean. She came heavily cloaked, but paid the full sum in advance. I was used to such transactions after many similar concerning a certain Esmeralda. Figured this were just more at same. I saw one other figure go into the room that night. Someone tall, built broad like a man, but shrouded the same as she. Again, standard practice for Mrs. Counsellor and her visitors. I was startled awake by a horrendous hubbub shortly after midnight. I jumped up and grabbed me grandpappy's machete, bleary-eyed and awash in fright. By the time I burst into that room, it was horribly silent. There was only Jake on the floor, dead, surrounded by what may as well have been a battlefield. Whoever done it has escaped through the window, but I saw nary a soul when I looked out. You can bet I hightailed it to the Legion barracks faster than a jackrabbit after that.
Eager imbecile.
Councillor Jake, that poor man. I knew too much about his affairs, you know. Never figured it my business to say anything, but after all that's happened, I wonder if that weren't a grave mistake. Esmeralda's longest-standing lover has the audacity to remain lodged at this very inn, you know. He's called the Duke of Ferrell, a high title for a low man. If you haven't yet asked him about Esmeralda, I'd recommend it.
Back, demon! Back, or I'll... Well, what's this? Oh, Medora, you lummox. 1,000 pardons, comrade. This old bear's edgier than a dodecahedron these days. I'll tell you, it sure does me good to set eyes on another of our order. From Academy West, aren't you? Give Captain Wartruce my regards next time you see him.
Of which I doubt you could even fathom, old friend.
You wouldn't. I trained up in Academy North, after all. We don't cross paths with you Westies all that often, but it's always a pleasure when we do. Medora's the name. Retired, or so the Order keeps trying to tell me, but never out of commission. My hand to your cause and my sword at your side. Heavens hornets! That's quite a story, comrade. And come to think of it, one that might concern you.
I linger over long while lighting my pipe.
See, I'm here on, well, let's call it a loan from a town to the north of here. Hunter's Edge by name. There's been an attack there, comrade. Orcs. Not your run-of-the-mill savages either, but ones who've taken dark magic to new heights. What they want in Hunter's Edge, I can't say, but it's my responsibility to send them packing. Preferably with their horns in their suitcases and a knee-knocking fear of ever crossing paths with a sauce hunter again. I came south seeking the Legion's help, only to find it tied here in Sicil. They don't have a spare soldier to send northward, and even in my finest form, I can't clear the place of that many orcs without backup. By the skin of my teeth, comrade. The savages were rounding up villagers when one of them activated a tripwire on our village wizard's property. Fortunately for me, that particular wizard has a penchant for things that go boom in the night. I managed to wrench free of my captor's grip and flee toward the forest. He pursued me for miles, but I'd lost him before I made it into the Sicil hinterlands. Well, comrade, I hadn't thought of it till you tapped my shoulder just now, but perhaps that's where you come in. I need a contingent I can trust if I'm to take back the town. And the way I see it, you could use reinforcements here in town. I've been scouting Sicil for some time now, and I believe I've sussed out sufficient intel to help solve the murder of the Counselor. With our minds and swords in tandem, we'll make short work of the perpetrator. Well, you know the old expression. 2's a tea party, 3's an invasion. I know this place like the back of my hand by now, and the orcs up north will be short work for a trained-up trio of sauce hunters.
Now, your head's grown more swollen than Saffron's, I dare say.
Another sauce hunter on the team will make us all the more formidable against this wicked magic. Welcome aboard, Medora.
That's the spirit. Listen closely now. Do you hear it? That's the sound of every orc and sorcerer in a 100-mile radius shaking in his wee boots. Dancing dugongs, you nearly startled me out of my boots. Well, you've got my attention, comrade. Ask away, my friend, ask away. Always helps to know a thing or two about who's covering your back against the gnashing hordes, eh? It's no coincidence the Order retired me, or tried to anyhow, to such an aptly named little town. Way back when, the settlement was chartered as a stronghold for source hunters to keep watch over the borders of the Phantom Forest. Don't let the name fool you, though. These days, the forest is little more than a smattering of trees and ruins. A perfect posting for an old bull and her dotage like yours truly. In the days of old, though, the forest played host to source devils of every make and kind. Hunter's Edge was a settlement of source hunters tasked with watching over the border of the forest and putting down anything smacking a source that might creep out of it. By now, it's been centuries since anything more dangerous than a badger has come out of those woods. By and by, the source hunters moved out and regular folks set up shop. But the town's charter requires that at least one of our kind remain to keep the watch. More than I'd hoped, comrade. I don't know what in tarnation's gotten into the townsfolk here, but there's enough dark magic running roughshod to topple a small mountain. There's Mayor Cecil's doings for one, and the mysteries of our master Thalron for another. And on top of it all, the feline menace is lurking at every hearth and shadow. You mean you don't already know, comrade? Their kind can see in the dark. It ain't natural. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the mayor's a decent sort, even if he can't hear farther than the tip of his nose. But from what I've heard whispered around the docks, the old guy's gotten himself mixed up in something not quite on this side of the law. I suspect an illegal source artifact or substance is the root of it, but exactly what or who's given it to him, I can't say. And since I haven't technically been assigned to Sicil, I don't have the authority to interrogate him. Fella seems like a humble doctor, but I'll bet my sword he's dealing in something darker than splints and tonics.
Concerned enough when you realize that reward money won't be
A
lying.
loose-lipped legionnaire let slip that she'd seen our good doctor scale the city wall on 2 separate occasions, well past midnight each time. What business could he have among the undead? Hardly the habit of an innocent healer, I'd say.
A source hunter? I'd like to report some dark magic. Only tainted hearts could tip as miserably as this lot.
Hunter's Edge.
Fortune!
Been at the King Crab nearly 10 years now, personally. Seen every character you can imagine, from bums to wizards, passed through these doors for a pint and a place to rest.
Could even fathom, old friend.
I think I'm one of the last folks to hear him alive. That awful scream has been ringing in my ears ever since. And with the room where it all happened still under quarantine, we've a constant reminder of exactly what happened. Though that's the question, isn't it? What exactly did happen? We all thought it was Esmeralda who checked into that room, and the Duke that followed her in. I was washing up and nudging the last of the lushes out of the door when a cloaked woman rushed in right past me. I never got a good look at her, damn my eyes, but I figured the way she disappeared that she was visiting one of the lodgers.
Swollen and saffrons,
Lucky for the perpetrators, I was rinsing bottles in the back when the terrible deed took place and saw nothing more. I'm not proud to say I ducked under the counter and damn well stayed there till I heard Ivad fling that door open, but I was paralyzed with fright.
That purring sound. Mind control vibrations, I'm sure. Don't be seduced, comrades.
Do I seem like the sort who concerns myself with such things?
You'll be concerned enough when you realize that reward money won't be lying in your pockets.
Platzieren eigentlich hier so an Wesenszügen? Nix, okay. Steh auf Männchen. Wenn ein Gegner einen Treffer landet, der ich drücken würde, bewegt er durch. Steh auf Männchen mit einem Lebenskraft. Das mir zuvor bereits mehr als einen Punkt gekriegt hat. Was denn Rausch? Okay. Opportunist. Opportunist steuert durch die Fähigkeit Gelegenheitsabwehr durchzuführen.
Tell me, Alistair, have you ever had the fortune of challenging the fabled wizard of Hunter's Edge?
Fortune? Ha! He should be so lucky as to be defeated by Alistair the Great.
They say he's privy to ancient and arcane secrets, the likes of which I doubt you could even fathom, old friend.
Leider kein Zielfreund.
Ah, hello. I suppose you're here to viciously interrogate me for information I don't have, like our noble Captain Aureus before you. I am the Duke of Ferrell, though I suppose my name is in the mouths of enough ruthless gossipers that you've heard of me by now. It's very tragic news. I won't posture and say that the Chancellor and I were anything near allies, but I truly never wish the man harm. Yes, she and I have a history. That's hardly a secret anymore. I quite doubt it was even a secret from Jake while he lived. As easy as it would be to pin suspicions on Esmeralda or I assure you that the affair was never so steamy and sordid as the busybodies around town make it out to be. Jake and Esmeralda had no great affection for each other. He had his interests, she had hers, and there was little passion left between them. Certainly not enough to fuel a murder.
Gleich mal übelst die Sympathie runtergegangen. Interessant. Da kann man ja sprechen. Da sind noch zwei. Anne und Alistair. Wieder ein Alistair.
Tell me, Alistair, what have we here? A source hunter, is it? Well, my day just became rather more stimulating. Oh, stand still then, if you don't mind. I want to take a good long look at the so-called savior of Sicile.
Mann, den hat er uns jetzt wieder genannt. Den Mann, den Mann hat er uns jetzt genannt.
Tall as an elf, strong as an orc, but your face, quite classical, isn't it? Statuesque, some might say. Yes, smooth and sturdy as marble, yet fine as a chisel's edge. And my word, what passion burns from your eyes. Please forgive my being forward, but I dare say, can it be? Well, you're exactly the person I've been searching for.
Oh, die Rüstungsteile. Ganz schön viel kosten. Ohne antike Plattmuster der Unvergänglichkeit. Unverwüstlich. Diese dünne, aber dennoch widerstandsfähige Brustpanzer wurde einem Flügelmotiv versehen. Es soll eine Verbindung zu den Göttern herstellen. Die Erschwindigkeit und Vorhersehbarkeit des Hundes. Gebracht werden. Die ist so viel besser. Sorry. Das ist auch schlüssig oder was? Ich kann Liedsfuß geben. Veralteter Speer des Arztes. Oh. Erstmal so. Sie können sich das ja sogar holen. Ich meine, es hat ja Ischmuschel. Schlechte Muschel, die am Strand gefunden hat. Zudem es sie aufgehoben hat, hat sie keinen Wurf gesprochen. Also. Gegebenenfalls könnten wir noch was anderes verkaufen. Was hier nochmal? 47. Okay, das wäre schwer. Aber noch was anderes großartig zu verkaufen, was mehr einbringt. Kostet diese sagen. Was das mal einbringt. Ach, warte mal. Ich weiß, dass in seinem Dingsbus noch was drin ist. Ich will den ganzen Rucksack verkaufen. Garantiert nicht.
I am Anna, jewel in the crown that is the fabulous 5. I've cut 1,000 throats, and baked 1,000 bread rolls, stolen the crown jewels of the Queen of Rache, and, with my pockets full, helped her reach enlightenment. When the day comes that I die, the gods will evacuate the heavens to make space for my formidable collection of designer slippers. I contain multitudes, you see, and I am utterly replete. Except that, much to my dismay, I had as yet to find the companion to whom my heart so clearly calls. But then, Source Hunter, you wandered into this tavern, and I am most certain that that companion is you. So you've joined up. You've sworn to share in our adversity and our bounty alike. Oh, you've made my heart soar. I can finally offer you our finest adventuring equipment at fantastic in-house rates. Come now, let's trade. Well, you must be thrilled to find yourself a member of a team so widely renowned for its valor and skill. And you must be even more curious about how you yourself can suit up to face such enemies as a member of the Fabulous Five must face. Well, never fear. I have everything you need. I hear you've been tasked with taking out that crazed robot in the northern cave. I'm sure you'd like to equip yourself with the finest possible accoutrement, wouldn't you? Come, come, I have everything you need. Oh, darling, that was so long ago now. Who can remember who said what after all this time? What matters is the here and now. And in this moment, I promise to give you the best deals on adventuring equipment you'll find in all Sicile. Well, you are a member of the eminent Fabulous Five, after all. Providing you can afford it, I'll be happy to supply you with all the gear you'll need while swinging swords alongside the Fabulous Five. Providing you can afford it, well, you must be thrilled to find yourself a member of a team so widely renowned for its valor and skill. And you must be even more curious about how you yourself can suit up to face such enemies as a member of the...
Sorry, I've run out of signed handkerchiefs. An Alistair keyring, maybe. In any case, make it quick. You're not the only fan who wants some of my time. Those nasty beasts are hardly worth my time. Though I suppose I'll step in if none of the recruits manage to prove adept enough to handle a few skeletons. What do you mean, not familiar? You expect me to believe you've never heard of Alistair the Almighty? Why, I'm only the most famous wizard this side of the Distis. Although, it'd be worth checking the other side too, just in case. And don't forget, I'm the most eminent member of the Fabulous Five to boot. Surely you already know we've been voted the most influential adventurers guild by SideQuest Monthly, 3 years running. Well, well, you're far from my caliber, but who isn't? It's good you're eager, but let me give you a word of warning. Aim for my spots, and your career in the Fabulous Five will meet a most unsavory end. Ah, you'll be dealing with Ahu's little abomination, will you? I'd go myself, but I'd fear I'd end the fight before anyone else got in their licks. If I don't leave a few crumbs for the newbies once in a while, they'll accuse me of stealing the spotlight, you see.
Tell me, Alistair, have you ever had the fortune of challenging the fabled wizard of Hunter's Edge?
Fortune? Ha! He should be so lucky as to be defeated by Alistair the Great.
They say he's privy to ancient and arcane secrets, the likes of which I doubt you could even
Raufgeschichte der 7 Götter.
friend.
Ui, das würde mich sehr interessieren.
Greetings, traveller, and may the immaculate conduit's myriad blessings comfort and cradle you. Tell me, have you yet heard the revelation?
So, das zeigst du mir mal an. Ja, Special, okay.
What's in a name, dear friend? For we all begin equal in the conduit's eyes, and only through great deeds may enter into her inner ring. You mean you haven't heard? Oh, what fortune that I may share the goddess's salvation with one who has, as yet, been lost. Steel yourself, friend, for your mortal spirit could be forever transformed from this moment forth. The conduit, our link to the goddess herself, has given us a special gift, and the gift is thus. By following her instructions and becoming initiated into the one way, we can each of us live on for a span greater than the number of stars that twinkle within the goddess's right eye. She came from on high to we mortals and showed us the path to the goddess, where all living souls are naturally inclined. She showed us that injury and malady need not mark the end of life, but that through her methods we could ascend to greater life in service of the goddess. Ah, for this hallowed information, you must seek an immaculate chapel. Go north, friend, through the forest and into the town of Silverglen, where all may be revealed.
Okay.
There, among her followers and friends, dwells the goddess's ecstasy, her one way. Go on the path to the righteous, my friend. Forget not that the conduit has great plans for you.
Das ist strange. Keine Ahnung, wer hat denn geflogen? Scharf. Was für uns rum? Wenn wir hier geflogen ist, scharf finden. Sollen wir sie benachrichtigen? Schaut sie hilfreich was. Das Elfen bist ja auch schon. Das finde ich interessant. Das hat Mendius während sie gerne als unsere Kundschaft anmerken.
Come now, Alistair. Surely you've met your match once or twice.
Ha! The closest I've come to mind.
Ich glaube, ich schicke die eher zu links von uns, weil der ist nicht ganz geheuer.
Oh, careful now. Your head's grown more swollen than saffrons, I dare say.
Ich da rein. Keller. Gift. GG. Einfacher Keller und hier richtig. Naja, wow. Alter. Auf wem kann ich doch noch?
Careful! I've spotted a trap!
Und du bist doch nicht wirklich davor. Wow. Alles klar. Also ich kann nicht das Schloss drücken. Das hinüber ist los. Was geht doch anders, oder? Wow, wirklich was drin. Schutzmorde Wiederbelebung, die ist ganz gut. Kann das Team visuell vom einen vom anderen besser die Finger lassen. Die Besitzer werden ansonsten schwerer. Ich denke, übersinkt. Es kann sogar sein, dass sie doch mehr als 2 jetzt bleibt. Das ist ja schwer. Richtig. Ja, schaut. Ja, spezielle Waffen aus. Sie verursachen nicht nur Schaden, sondern verleihen die Träger auch eine spezielle Fertigkeit. Ich erkenne das Zauberstabstände wieder auf den Reiter Ausrüstung. Und so weiter und so fort. Ich schwer. Das ist gut. Einfache Tavernenkeller, Tonschlüssel. Zack. Ich lieber hier jemanden in die Tasche spielen, weil ich in den schlechten muss. Schlecht einfach mal. Schneller findet man jemanden an, versuchen zu stehen. Lass mich jetzt gucken, ob das nicht irgendwie naja, nach hinten losgeht. Zack, 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 zack. Schwer, okay, schöner benutzt, was ein bisschen Geld verkaufen. Voilà. Ah, wir brauchen Neues. Okay. Hier, wir haben was geklaut, ey. Alter, so schwer. Was ist das noch so hier? Alles gut. Sollten nur vielleicht nochmal kurz zurückgehen. Stoffreste. Das kommt alles gebrauchen. Die Identifizierungslupe. Ihr habt eine Identifizierungslupe gefunden. Aber dann was die Fähigkeit gut genug ist, könnt ihr damit Gegenstände identifizieren. Tritt ein auf den nicht identifizierten Gegenstand richte Mustertaste wir identifizieren aus. Alles klar. Machen wir dann. Ich hoffe jetzt wirklich, dass das nicht irgendwie losgeht. So viel tolles Blut.
A source hunter. I'd like to
Alles gut, nicht?
Hello again. How can I help you?
Whatever happened to that troop of eager imbeciles we sent to the northern cave?
Do I seem like the sort who concerns myself with such things?
You'll be concerned enough when you realize that reward money won't be lining your pockets.
Guck mal, ein schwerer Goldcash. Hat er jetzt automatisch Sympathie verloren? Nee, hat. Sie hat weniger Sympathie bei ihm als... Ah, bestimmt weil sie da so das Zeug geklaut hat, alles und so weiter. Okay.
Tell me, Alistair, have you ever had the fortune of challenging the fabled wizard of Hunter's Edge?
Fortune? Ha! He should be so lucky as to be defeated by Alistair the Great.
They say he's privy to ancient and arcane secrets, the likes of which I doubt you could even fathom.
Hello again. How can I help you?
Wir müssen wirklich aufpassen, was wir machen. Muss ich jetzt mal sagen. Eigentlich schon eine Waffen oder? Nee. Guck mal, hier ist eine Waffen oder? Braucht sie? Ja, brauchst du wirklich. Gut. Hat er sie wieder?
Come now, Alistair. Surely you've met your match one sort.
Stop right there. Until you've received the captain's permission to enter, this door doesn't exist. Got it?
Alles klar.
Stop right there. Until...
Gut. Gut. Ihr meint. Hinten. Was ist denn da?
Soon the last will be beaten. Beaten like the anvil of Grog, the torturer. All hail Grog! All hail his hot-steeled instruments.
Oh, da ist auch wohl was drin. Schade. Ich denke mal an
By the filed teeth of Sulumar's soul shredder, the end is nigh. Death comes a-creeping for you, Victoria!
Alles klar.
Move along.
Es geht weiter.
Soon the last will be beaten.
Greetings, greetings. Oh, you are most welcome in my chamber. Customers rarely find me up here, but I do so abhor the hustle and bustle of the marketplace. That I am. I have spent more of my life on the road travelling alongside great caravans than I have in any given place in Rivellon. All of this earth is my home, for a few days or even but a few hours at a time, that is. You wouldn't believe some of the things I have seen. Oh yes, a city besieged by the dead isn't even remotely special to me. All the better that it isn't. For you and for me. Because outlandish events lead to outlandish wares. Oh, but let us not discuss. Let us browse and barter.
End it all in blood!
Guck mal, da machst du dich jetzt gerade besser, aber gut. Ich bin ja gleich bei dir. Was passiert das denn? Das ist Hexenmord.
By the filed teeth of Sulma Soul Shredder, the end is nigh. Death comes a creeping for you, Victoria!
Meine Güte, ey. Was für ein Schirmwerkzeug? Schuhe des Stiebes. Weiter, Ende.
Praise be that Ahu the wizard built those newfangled weapons of his. Seal would have long been overrun by undead if it weren't for them
By the needles of the million bleeder.
Seal, now that's a sad story. Elegant homes burned for fuel, oaken cupboards emptied, and ladies dragging the dregs of their great skirts to bargain for fish bones.
So schlimm sieht es eigentlich für mich nicht aus, muss ich jetzt mal sagen.
Soon the last will be beaten. Beaten like the
Maybe the
hand
lock
of
can be
Grog,
jimmied.
The torturer. All hail Grog! All hail his hot-steeled instruments.
Reinschauen kann man ja mal. Okay, was Entscheidendes. Ein Dietrich, das wäre was Entscheidendes. Eins. Zwei.
The hunters go stalking in the night. By the needles of the million bleeder, they'll end it all in blood!
Ja, okay. Jetzt war mal so ganz ruhig. Ja, wir haben schon viel Erfahrung, das ist toll, aber ganz ruhig.
Ah, you have come. Yes, that is most satisfactory. Begone, brittle mask of age. Hear me now repeat the words of Brittletooth, the child snatcher of Carador. Come, play with me, for I'm hungry. Come, play. My name is Eglandir Twil Salanar, elf of the house of Gandavum, the slaughtered house of Gandavum. But by the twin blades of the Shadow Vixen, I shall have my revenge. The walls of memory are stained with blood, and I would see them bloodier still. The game, yes! A game of blood and brutality, of death and dexterity. Fun as herring the horror harlequin. But, like the serpentine stalker hisses before the stab, hush now, darkness, darling, hush, hush, and listen to my tale. The elves of Gandavum, they lived in peace. Oh, yes. But one night, when the moon had hid her face, the orcs of the tribe of Kazuldagar beset our city. They cooked and ate and burned every last one of us. The light of dawn never saw an elf of Gandavum no more. All undone. Every last one of us. Except for me, the midnight rambler, away from the city. I was very old back then already, though indeed I whisper of many years hence. But death shall not find me. Oh no, not until every beast of Kazuldagar has been bled. I may be frail, a withered grey, but the wealth of kings is mine. Countless assassins have ministered to the vengeance that is my want.
and now is almost over. By Kala, Lady of the Last Gaze, I swear it is almost done. Only the very last one of the Kazaldagar still eludes me. The crowning kill that would seal its fate and mine alike. I have tracked her down. By the curse of the spine spear I have. She does not know her ill-shapen sun is setting fast. Color the dusk red, O sword of youth. Bloody the day with the bramble sap that runs through the veins of Victoria. Bring me the amulet that clings to her flesh, soon to fade. And yours shall be the bounty of vindication. Mine shall be its sanguine satisfaction after long, long last. Yes, Victoria. She is the one whose heart must be held in hand, the heart around which the fingers of that hand must clench and tighten until its choking flesh bulges with blood and its beat slowly breaks. The orcs of Gazuldagar, they knew my name. Oh yes, by the bite of the roving rattler, they knew my design. And so they sought to save their last, an infant, she who was to be queen. To no avail, oh no. Years, how many I know not. Years I searched, and now she has been found. Her name is that of a woman, her employment that of a civilized being. But by the fork of Barbara Man-Eater, she is nothing but an orc, a sister of nature, one of a misbegotten litter dragged into life from the tumoured womb of a filthy, coarse-haired beast that was humped like a dog in the darkness of a stinking hollow. Victoria, librarian, daughter, adopted child of Cecil, Mayor of Sicile. There is bloodlust in you. I can feel it. Let it out. Set it free. Undo the last of the Kazuldagar. By the breasts of Sishara Goatsuckler, give me my revenge!
Ganz ruhigen miteinander. Ganz ruhigen. Ich bin erstmal weg. Hey. Hm? Okay. Ich bin immer im CS. Fernseher möchte, dass wir Victoria umbringen. Teil des Options ist, dass er wieder Mord hat. Deswegen als Beweis zu ihrem Tod ihrer Welt bringen. Das ist eine Weiterentwicklung ergänzt.
The hunters go stalking in the night by the needles of the million bleeder.
That was quite the radical change we witnessed. I never would have thought that the benign old man we met outside would turn out to be a vengeance-driven aficionado of assassins.
Soon the last will be beaten. Beaten like the anvil of Grog, the torturer. All hail Grog! All hail his hot-steeled instruments.
Ich würde sagen, er würde das schon verstehen. Ich würde ihm natürlich nicht die Schuld geben, aber er würde es schon verstehen können.
But let's just say I understand him no longer. His madness is now focused on the demise of an innocent, be she an orc or not.
Teeth of Suluma, soul shredder. The end is nigh. Death comes a-creeping for you, Victoria!
Wenn wir uns richtig gefügt, erhält ihr bei einem Gelegenheitssache bei einem Bonus von 20 100% Wahrscheinlichkeit. Was ich sehe. Dann seid ihr immun gegen Verflucht. Okay. Ich sag's mal so. Es ist jetzt so. Wie soll ich das jetzt sagen?
Ready to advance, ready to defend. Ask away, my friend, ask away. Always helps to know a thing.
Sorry. Erstmal so. Wenn man so sieht, ist er wirklich so, dass er sagen würde, er kann das verstehen. Dass der unbedingt Rache sozusagen haben will.
Fresh haddock. Perfect for a fryer.
Watch out. I
Also
smell.
trotzdem jetzt nicht unbedingt siegreich.
Oh, the fierce stench of frightened source goblin.
Actually,
Let
I think
us
that's only
see
roast
if you
pig.
can choose the
Ah,
finest greens.
yes, of course. This time.
Diesmal. Ja, kannst du den Kopf auf dem Wasser füllen?
Wing of worm.
Danke.
Grow and spice 'em. Stir and churn.
Ja, der goldene Karl.
Every
Den nehmen wir
herring,
einfach.
delicious dogfish. Yours for a scratch knowledge.
Auch nicht.
Tomatoes.
Das kann ich überhaupt nicht von machen. Frage ich mich so jetzt.
Not in the mood for cheese. That excuse is more home than a slice of this fine Gorman bear.
Okay, keine Ahnung, was es für Kombinationsmöglichkeiten gibt. Claudius und Marcius. Hier sind alles Römer, klar. Alles Römer.
Potions to bemuscle you. Scrolls to entussle you.
Das hier kenne ich auch schon. Da wird es dann dahin weitergehen. Das ist ein Höfer-Seite. Das ist noch der Strand, wie man sieht. Andere Seite des Strandes muss man jetzt sagen. Ich will jetzt noch nicht mehr so lange machen. Sorry, ich weiß, es hat jetzt nicht vorgestellt, also tun kann.
Potions to bemuscle you. Scrolls to entussle you.
Well, hello there.
Was ist das, die Zigeuner, die wir da gesehen haben? Da würde ich gerne nochmal hin. Aber jetzt gleich. Ich will auch mal ein wenig die Story weiterführen. Wie viel ist es warm? Stamm. Ast. Stamm. Ast. Genau. Einfach 130 Gold in einem Fass versteckt. Ich denke mir einfach nur so, ja, ernst.
I wouldn't venture too far out of town if I were you. Many legionnaires did so before you. Very few have returned.
Das kenne ich schon. So viel zu tun.
Warm as dragon's breath.
Schlüssel. Kann ich so stehen und so kombinieren. Okay. Bestimmt so wie jedes Teil hier auch.
Murder within the walls, undead outside the walls. And here we legionnaires sit twiddling our thumbs.
Know much about zombies, do you? How about walking bones?
Proud legs and run away? Ah, there it is.
Ach, Motor, okay. Ich kenne mich ja zumindest nicht mit Skeletten aus, allerdings kann ich nicht mit, was muss denn aus? Oh, Esstisch. Eisentisch. Ja, Eisentisch. Ich darf die Feldküche nicht benutzen, das wird das gut aussehen. Übungsschwert. So. Schauen wir, Bestand kann alle Zweifel auswählen. Das Fehler hier, der schmilzt, und das war die Flasche. Das Eisenschild fertig. Was? Den, ja. Okay.
The beast speaks. So you've half a brain behind that feral maul, have you?
The cretin's question crossed her lips and aped an air of aptitude.
Ja, Hühnchen.
Blasted poultry.
Und das Fehlervieh. Das ist cool.
Yeah. Source Hunter. A sight for sore eyes if ever there was one. I know you're probably knee-deep in that awful murder investigation, but truth be told, the Legion could use your help as well. We've been conducting a series of expeditions into undead territory, and I'm afraid I must admit they've met with very little success. Lieutenant Selenia, at your service. I'm Captain Aureus' second-in-command, but rest assured I am a lot more kindly inclined towards source hunters than he is. Now, I certainly don't mind a bit of healthy competition, and even rivalry between our orders, but I, for one, have no intention of looking a gift horse in the mouth. And that is exactly what your presence in Sicil is, Source Hunter. A gift and a blessing. Only heroes such as yourself can make a true difference in this troubled part of the world. Such is my honest conviction. I shall be very glad to share what information I can give you. It's very sweet of you that you are trying to get these men a job, but I'm afraid they're not Legion material. Sure, they can tie a knot and blow a whistle like the best of them, but even with a sword in their hands, they wouldn't stand a chance against the undead, and I don't want any more blood on my hands.
Come on with the dramatics. It's not as bad as all that.
The face furious. She bit me in the face.
If ever we want to be victorious in Sicil, we have to track down the root of the undead uprising. Under the Pact of Volunteers, 3 expeditions were launched to do just that, but so far, none of their participants have returned. 3 landmarks were chosen for further investigation: the lighthouse, the burial mounds, and the old church, places fraught with danger all. There's a lighthouse to the west, up on the bluffs, overlooking the sea. No man has gone there in a decade, and yet a light shines from its pinnacle every night. The locals say it's haunted, and half a dozen legionnaires have gone to find out whether or not those are mere tall tales. I fear for their safety. There are ancient burial grounds to be found north of the city. As good a place as any to start looking for necromancers, wouldn't you say? A local archaeologist offered to tag along with the men. Here's hoping his knowledge on the subject may prove to be of use to them. There's a church to the northeast of here, built atop the very place where once stood a temple dedicated to the source. The Sicilians razed it, and built a church for the 7 instead, supposedly to symbolize the victory of the gods over evil sorcery. All superstitious mumbo-jumbo, if you ask me. But when the dead rose, that is when they were first spotted. Hence the expedition.
You'll only encourage it.
Boże, chorować, żeby mieć światło, ale z tytułu mam poszłam zum ersten Mal.
So I did. The Pact of Volunteers. Many legionnaires will do whatever it takes to go home, which is why I personally sign their transfer orders the moment they make it back from a mission behind enemy lines. The chances of survival during these sorties are only about 1 in 10, you see. So my soldiers are free to volunteer, and if they are successful, they just bought themselves a boat ride home. The undead. I pitied them at first. Many among them were once kind and innocent civilians of Sicil, after all. No longer do I feel that way, though. Too many of my soldiers have fallen. The dead must be put down without mercy, if we can. The bravest among my men and women tell me they are weaker in the west and stronger in the east. So I suggest you head westward if you want to flex your muscles and test the waters before blindly diving to your death.
You don't think it's infected, do you?
Come on now, I pulled her up here before she could do any real damage.
Any real damage? Are you joking? I've been along with this spirit for life. The face furious. She bit me in the face.
Look on the bright side. Everyone knows the ugly soldiers are the most ferocious.
Ugly will be the least of it. The beast looks rabid.
In that case, you'll have the pleasure of putting her down yourself.
I wish for you to try and screech, woman.
was ihnen
The
geworden
beast
ist.
speaks, so you've half a brain behind that feral maw, have you?
Und
The creditors question crossed her lips and ate to
sieht
hear
uns
aptitude.
von einer Expedition in den Fondsweg auf der Stadt.
Don't pay attention to
Von
the
einer
beast
Stellung
theories.
begleitet
You'll only
die
encourage it.
Untersuchung die Lösung des Mysteriums und genau weiter. Und sehen, ja, über eine Expedition in den Fondsweg wissen.
You don't think it's effective, do you?
Now I told her up, you know, she could do any real damage.
Das ist aber doch bequem,
Ah, come on with the dramatics. It's not as bad as all that.
The face furious. She bit me in the face.
Greetings! These stalls are for our Legion troops. Rivellon's finest work up mighty fine appetite serving the seven.
The beast looks rabid.
In that case, you'll have the pleasure.
Good luck with these Sicilian sauce hunter. They'll run you ragged if you let them.
Yeah, chicken.
Don't let that rooster escape! He's already on the menu for tonight!
Pardon him? What a silly notion. Such a lovely day calls for a nicely cooked chicken. If this chicken belongs to the chef, setting it free would be the equivalent of theft.
Jetzt will ich gewinnen. No! Nice. Nicht so. Verdammt. Nice. Einmal noch was geschafft. Ja, verdammt. Genau. So eine schwere Entscheidung jetzt. Yes. Tja, was kann man dieses...
No, we'll do as I say.
Why did you let my chicken escape?
Jack, es ist schon so.
Down yourself.
I wish for you to try it, screech woman.
You let my chicken escape? Looks like it's your lucky day, Jack. Now to tell the troops they're getting nothing but the cornbread.
Er hat so Glück. Und auch relative Sympathie bei mir. Ich muss ja gleich den Herzstoß einfach mal bekommen. Herzstoß. So. Vorsichtig. Und dafür eben Herzstoß. Nicht mitfühlend. So. Ja, mitfühlend. Weiter. Tja. Ich kann da mit Jack nicht reden.
These stalls are for our Legion troops. Rivellon's
The least
finest
of
work
it.
up
The
mighty
beast
fine
looks rabid.
In that case, you'll have the pleasure.
Wo ist Jack eigentlich hin?
I wish for you to try it, screech woman.
The beast speaks, so you've half a brain behind that feral maw, have you?
Jack! Ich frage mich jetzt leider wirklich, wo Jack ist. Jack, ich hoffe, ich befreit jetzt doch nicht einfach weg. Hallo, Jack. Warum bist du einfach weggelaufen?
Ah, come on with the dramatics. It's not that at all.
Da weiß ich, wenn ich das mache.
She hit me in the face.
Look on the bright side. Everyone knows the ugly soldiers are the most ferocious.
Ugly will be the least of it.
Ich hab mal Box.
Come on with the
The
dramatics.
face
It's not as
furious.
bad as all
She
of
bit
that.
me in the face.
Greetings!
Don't let that...
Pardon him? What a... If this chicken belongs to the chef, setting it free would be the equivalent of theft.
Schnell würde ich eigentlich nicht sagen. Also das ist mal sehr schnell. So, perfekt. Nice. Ich habe teilweise erkannt, wie du arbeitest. Das ist die aber auch wie ich arbeite.
All right, we'll do it your way.
That was close. Thanks for catching Fidgety Jack here. I guess he got nervous when I mentioned drumsticks. Let's have that bird then, shall we? Our troops are mighty.
Ich will jetzt wissen, ob der Jack gegebenenfalls nämlich ein Krachenzerz oder sein könnte. Will ich nicht unbedingt glaube, aber wer weiß.
The face furious. She bit me in the face.
Greetings! These stalls are for our Legion troops.
Don't let...
Let's pardon him. Just look at the little blighter. He doesn't deserve the knife.
Why did you let my chicken escape?
Half a brain behind that feral maul, have you?
The cretin's question crossed her lips and aped an air of aptitude.
Hey, Tull, I think that was an insult.
Don't pay attention to the beast, Various. You'll only encourage it.
Sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again!
You don't think it's infected, do you?
Come on now, I pulled her off you before she could do any real
Sorry,
damage.
Sir. Any real damage? Are you joking? I've been mauled. I'll be disfigured for life.
Come on with the dramatics. It's not as bad as all that.
The face furious. She bit me in the face.
Look on the bright side. Everyone knows the ugly soldiers are the most ferocious.
Ugly'll be the least of it. The beast looks rabid.
In that case, you'll have the pleasure of putting her down yourself.
I wish for you.
Ich will mal kurz was machen.
The face furious. She bit me in
Look on
the
the bright
face.
side. Everyone knows the ugly soldiers are the most ferocious.
Ugly'll be the least of it. The beast looks rabid.
In that case, you'll have the pleasure of putting her down yourself.
Okay, ich hab...
I wish for you to try and screech, woman.
So, jetzt aber mich. Ich habe gerade gemerkt. Ich
So
bin
you've
jetzt
half a brain behind that feral maul, have you?
The cretin's question crossed her lips and aped an air of aptitude.
Hey, Tull, I think that was an insult.
Don't pay attention to the beast, Various. You'll only encourage it.
Shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
Das Aufschluss verstehen.
That's it, troops. Train up while you can. The next orcish strike
don't
could
think it's
land at any
infected, do you?
moment.
Come on now, I pulled her off you before she could do any
Sorry,
real
sir.
damage.
Any real damage? Are you joking? I've been mauled. I'll be disfigured for life.
Come on with the dramatics. It's not as bad as all that.
The face furious.
Hey, who's that then? Come on, stand where my good eye can see you.
Those boots would embarrass a
Easy, Tull. That's the source hunter you're talking to.
Das hätte gern eine interessante Angelegenheit gerade.
She may have the look of a woman if you squint hard enough, but she's no more than a wild animal. We got reports of a strange-looking outsider skulking through the town with her bow drawn. I found her crouched behind a tree, taking aim at a fat old rat trotting along the city walls. I tapped her on the shoulder to see what was what, and the beast startled like a wild cat and lunged right at me.
bit Tullia right in the face, she did. It wasn't pretty, and now it's got a chunk ripped off it to boot.
Enjoy it while you can, Ver. There's not another legionnaire in the cohort that'll have you if I go rabid.
Well, that's to be decided. She doesn't seem to be sick,
So you
despite
lost her.
Tully's moaning. We can't keep her here forever, but we can't well send her into the wilds again, can we?
Those boots will embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining recruits.
Sorry, sir.
You think that's
After
funny,
all,
Private?
a fearless hunter might prove quite useful for our investigation.
Well, that's a relief, ain't it? We found a good home for her after all, Tull.
Heed me, Source Hunter. She's not good for anything more than cannon fodder. And don't turn your back on her when she's got that bow within arm's reach.
You think that's funny, Private?
Source Hunter, I have heard tales both grand and terrible about the world of humans. I myself was caged one moment and freed the next by our kind.
To the barracks! March!
In Home Forest, every creature acts according to the nature of its kind. Birds frighten easily, badgers fear little. But amongst men, there are no guarantees.
About face! To the barracks! March! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again! Attention!
Ich hoffe, das wurde ernst.
About
It is strange to stand with one foot in the forest and the other in the city, Source Hunter. I am glad that now I have you standing beside me, even if one burns hot while the other wheezes cold. Perhaps in time I will come to know my own kind as you have, and perhaps then I will decide for myself whether ours is a noble kind.
Get to shining recruits!
Sorry, sir.
Ich habe das Eigentum was bekommen. Was Buch bekommen.
Attention! About face! To the barracks!
You say you will take me under your wing, but I see no feathers. Are you a child of the birds, as I am of the bears?
Attention!
And so the lonely babe was fed upon the wild mother's milk, and cast aside from humankind, he thrived among his mother's ilk. So says the saga of Threes. Do you know it? The wise godwolf Amira raised the child Threes among her litter. So you see, I have good company. Threes the wolfson, and I the bear daughter. In truth, this is a relief. Your world is made with rules I have not yet memorized. I am happy to have a friend in such a place. Ask freely, my friend. Your city is far more wild than Home Forest. In Home Forest, the rules are clear. In Home Forest, your strength and speed determine your fate. Here, a tiny screech woman, no swifter than a mudworm, might confine you into a tiny cage, and one must wait for a kind stranger to grant freedom. Jarrett, wise Jarrett, taught me the bird songs of our people. If not for him, I would never have learned more than the beasts could teach me. A beast's life is to survive. A human's is to know. I am both beast and human, and so I must do both.
Recruits! That was sloppy.
He came to me when I was small. A fierce, wild one, yet unaware of the difference between the other cubs and herself. He called to me in a soft song. At first I thought him a great bird, We each reached out to the other. We found each other. Jarrett visited me often, and in time I learned his songs and more. When he built a small cabin within Home Forest, I hunted his food and fetched his water by day while he studied his books and his magics. By night, by the fire, he'd tell me tales of the world of people. Jarrett is my master and my friend, my teacher and myself. He teaches me and I care for him. I have learned all the bird song that Jarrett could teach. I remembered every word. These tales have brought me much pleasure. The remembering of the beasts is without lies. We know not to approach the wasp's nest because long ago one bear mother discovered its dangers. This she taught to her cubs, and those cubs taught the next. We do not remember Rito and the battle of the buzzing brutes. We remember only what is useful to us now. Rito will be forgotten. The beauty of the story will be forgotten, but the lesson will not. It is different between beasts and humans. I am lucky to enjoy both ways. I heard this was a place of many people, so here I came. I have seen more faces here in a day than I had seen in all the days of my life together. But I have not found the face I seek. Jarrett is missing. It is my duty to find him. That mystery is thick and ugly as a swarm of hornets. It started with a great disturbance in Home Forest. A terrible disease came in the night and turned the birds and beasts soft and foul as carrion while they still lived. I watched countless of my loved ones die, rotted from the inside. When I ran to Jarrett to tell him what I had seen, his reaction was strange. He had no answer. The next morning, Jarrett did not emerge from his room. I left him be, but after 3 days I grew anxious. I broke down the door and inside his chamber was nothing. His equipment, his books, all but some scraps of parchment were gone. He was kidnapped, and all his research was taken with him. The only clue I found was a letter among the scraps. I could not make out all the words, but I recognized the threat. Death, coming for you. And the signature? Attenborough. I do not know the one called Attenborough, but I know that if I am to find Jarrett, I must start there. Whoever this Attenborough may be, I believe he or she may know where Jarrett has been taken.
Sehr gut sein, dass die Hauptquest verknüpft wird, Alter. Das finde ich wiederum cool.
Attention! About face! To the barracks! March! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew! Again! Those boots would embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining, recruits.
Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny, Private?
Sir! No, sir!
Attention! About face! To the barracks! Not! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew! Again!
So, komm, wieder das Material steht aus ein bisschen. So, jetzt mal gut aus dem.
Those boots would embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining, recruits.
Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny, Private?
Sir! No, sir!
Attention! About face! To the barracks! Notch! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew! Again!
Rechts, links, los.
Attention! About face! To the barracks! March! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again! It never ends around here. There's a zombie in my garden. My sheep is missing. An orc ate my baby. Night and day, day and night.
Tja, Unteroffizier, kann ich verstehen. Ich bin da mal weg.
Sauce Hunter's here too? Well, if the Legion couldn't save this place, what are you gonna do?
Sorry, sir.
Ich weiß, muss ich dann zum Sehen oder ein?
Attention! About face!
Aber jetzt würde ich sagen,
To the
die
barracks!
Schlussbereich. Haben wir 2 neue Begleiter.
Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again!
Und ja.
Attention!
Ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen, auch wenn das jetzt sogar mehr oder weniger vor allem Dialog-Zeugs war. Und sorry, dass das sozusagen jetzt 2 Videos sein werden. Ich weiß, das eine, ich habe, wie gesagt, recherchiert, sozusagen. Ich will jetzt nicht spoilern, es gibt auf jeden Fall keine Folgequest, was diese 5 Typen angeht. Also die Sagire, die wir uns jetzt angeschlossen haben. Aber ich glaube zumindest nicht, dass man wenn man jetzt den Auftrag nicht machen würde, dass man den anderen Auftrag, den wir da bekommen haben, bei Ahu dann nicht mehr bekommen würde. Deshalb habe ich mir gedacht, ich nehme den Auftrag an und ja, lade eben nochmal neu. Ich weiß, da ist dann viel flöten gegangen, beziehungsweise viel Zeit flöten gegangen vor allem. Aber so sieht, könnt ihr, ich werde schauen, bis zu welcher Stelle ihr das, ihr könnt es euch eigentlich komplett anschauen, weil es sind ja andere Dialoge teilweise, aber ja, müsst ihr quasi selbst dann wissen, sage ich mal. Ja. Ich würde sagen, schaut euch trotzdem beide Videos an. Ist zwar ein bisschen blöd, aber dafür ist ja hier auch einiges Neues jetzt mit dabei. Und ja, wir sehen uns dann beim nächsten Mal wieder. Das heißt Divinity oder gegebenenfalls, wenn ich dann auf XCOM Bock habe, XCOM auch, das will ich noch sehen. Und diesmal habe ich dann bei XCOM nicht zu sehr zu töten. So ich das Video dann erstmal wieder weghauen muss, weil das ist doch wirklich zu stark gewesen, der Tilt. Aber ja, das war's von mir. Wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal. Ja. Tschüss. Okay, jetzt muss ich nur noch raustappen. So ist jetzt auch getan. Tschüss. Oh, das ist doch 1 Stunde und 30 Minuten. Okay, das wird ein langes Video. Ich schwöre euch, da ist nicht nur Dialog in der Taverne dabei, da ist noch ein bisschen mehr Dialog dabei. Schaut es euch auf jeden Fall an. Da ist sogar ein bisschen Diebesgut mit dabei. Ich empfehle euch, das einfach anzuschauen. Aber jetzt erstmal wirklich vorbei, der Stream für heute. Wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal. Tschüss.